a new version of Twister is our good friend Kent Wolgamont of the Lincoln Journal Star. It's time.
Oh, yeah.
It's time for the movie club.
We got too many damn opens.
We do have a lot of opens.
Clean up the wall.
The final day of the week. These are the voyages of the program Unsportsmanlike Conduct. Its ongoing mission to explore strange new movies, to seek out new bits and new edifications, to boldly go where no radio program has gone before. Oh, Elkent's Movie Club. It's Elkent's Movie Club. Elkent's Movie Club. It's Elkent's Movie Club.
How you doing, Kent?
I'm doing well. And, as long as the flying cow is still in the reboot.
Oh, yeah.
The cow that flies through right at the...
Need the flying cow. That's like the thing, Kent, that I still remember from that movie. I remember like two things. It was one, Bill Paxton saying, "It's already here," and then the cow. Basically, I don't remember anything else from the movie.
Cows. What a line.
Yeah.
Oh, Twister.
Oh my God, the late actor, three
Bill Paxton?
names. No, three
Philip
names.
Seymour Hoffman.
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
He's in that.
He was like the
He
beatnik guy.
he was like nerdish type assistant.
Yep.
Carried the, wind
Mike,
around.
Well,
What a
Kent,
movie. Speaking of what a movie.
Listen, I would watch Twister with French overdubs
Nice.
5 times before I watch Tusk again. You know what? Normally we spend a couple of minutes synopsizing the film. Here's the synopsis. Here's the only thing you need to know about Tusk. Podcaster needs a bit, finds a guy, gets abducted, and turned into a walrus. There you go, folks. There's the plot of Tusk.
You're
That's pretty much it.
What did Kent? So we were talking about it before the show today, and I think we were all kind of in agreement that the first half was like way better than the second half. And so I'm watching the first half thinking like, wow, another movie from Stibbs that is definitely weird, but it is pretty enjoyable. But I thought once Justin Long was turned into a walrus and couldn't talk anymore, which is a thing that happens in Tusk, it lost everything that made it kind of fun in the first half because the dialogue between those two characters I thought was actually good.
Well, yeah, that's part of it. And John, I agree with you here, and you will find this, I hope, amusing. I had forgotten that I'd seen this, and when the movie came on, and it had A24 on the title, the distributor, I'm like, they screen all their movies. I had to have seen this picture.
Yeah.
Then as soon as the guy chops his leg off in the first 2 minutes, it's like, I've seen this movie. I remember now. And so then I went and looked, and I didn't ever write a review of it because it never opened in Lincoln, right? It never played here. When I found some of my old notes for it, which were sort of in kind of a, here's how I'll write it if I write it. And the last line said, it was kind of entertaining, definitely interesting. Never want to see it again.
Yep, exactly.
You're welcome, Kent. You're welcome.
And you had to see it again.
And I got to watch it twice. Yeah.
I'm trying to find anything that was redeeming about it. And like I told Stibbs when I arrived today, first thing, as I said, is he was standing outside on the porch, and I opened the door to my car, and I can't repeat all the words that I said, but basically it had something to do with, you picked another crappy film.
Yeah.
But I did say this was the type of film that if I would have been back in high school, I probably would have enjoyed.
Yeah.
Because I enjoyed these types of just stupid horror/comedy films. I think of The Toxic Avenger. I think of It's Alive with the woman who gives birth to the little monster who then goes on a killing spree.
Mhm.
It kind of reminded me of that. But I don't know. I don't know what you thought, Kent. They're just if it would have had more humor in it for me,
especially like the humor in the first half.
yeah, I
Mhm.
probably would have enjoyed it more just because at some point you just realize he's being turned into a walrus. This is a ridiculous plot. So give me some humor. That's the thing that was missing most to me was there wasn't enough humor.
And it was scattershot. It was humor.
Yeah.
Then there wasn't. Then there was, and it didn't know whether it wanted to be a straight up funny, let's not be scary at all, but let's take these horror type tropes and make them funny, or to try to be scary or disturbing or whatever. And a few of those scenes, you will have to admit, are pretty disturbing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But it's so inconsistent, it makes it, not a great movie. Now there is some funny stuff, and it's, it's a Kevin Smith movie, and so you got to kind of expect that scattershot nature, because even his best movies are that way. Even like Clerks had some down spots in it, so to speak.
Mhm.
Every one of his movies are that way. But this one was particularly kind of up and down, and it did not, you guys are right, sustain the humor all the way through.
Yeah, I wrote down 2 lines that actually like made me laugh out loud. I emailed myself when I was watching it. And so there was one like when he has Justin Long in the wheelchair and he's letting him know, he goes, "I've been constructing a walrus suit." And Justin Long goes, "What?" And just like the delivery on that slayed me. And then I'm pretty sure, and I learned this from Stibbs earlier, that the cop or investigator was Johnny Depp, but I think that this was his character when he said, "Canada doesn't have any serial killers unless you count the pothead that ate all the Captain Crunch." That line destroyed me. But other than that, like I agree, Kent, like I thought that the first half it was definitely funnier, but I guess I went in thinking like with such a weird surreal plot that it was going to have more humor to kind of lessen the weirdness, if you will.
Yeah, that was Johnny Depp, by the way.
Uncredited, yeah.
Uncredited. Those were the only scenes that were shot in Los Angeles, they didn't haul him off to wherever they shot it in Canada. He was in LA when they shot it. You know what hit me this time, like in the first 10 seconds, was Haley Joel Osment got chubby.
Yeah, Haley Joel Osment, who you remember from The Sixth Sense, when he was a younger actor. Plays the cohort of the main character who's on the podcast. But yeah, you recognize him, and when Stibbs said that the weird investigator guy that they eventually find that helped them find Walrus Man was Johnny Depp. It was like, man, I thought there was something familiar because he's highly disguised. So unless you're looking for it, you probably won't know. But it just felt like in mannerisms that there was something about him that was like, this guy is familiar.
Yeah. And, this movie was a stiff box office wise. I mean, it did almost nothing, and it gained its sort of cult status because of it being on Netflix or wherever online. This is a perfect example of one of those kind of movies that it finds a little audience out there, but it wouldn't sustain itself in the theaters. And that's why I never wrote about it. It's why it never opened. But you could see, and I'm a Kevin Smith fan, so I can almost always find something in his movies, and I some of this was pretty entertaining. And if you're going to be disturbing, the walrus suit part was pretty disturbing.
Yes, it was.
The fight was fascinating.
Yeah.
and
Fascinating is one way to describe it.
So that's what I was going to say when you guys are talking about you're hoping for more humor. I'm not going to disagree with that at all, but I think Kevin Smith, he's a weird guy anyway, and he's got a weird sense of humor. And I think he was relying on the absurdity of the rest of that film to be the humor itself. Like, I can see Kevin Smith watching that fight scene and laughing his own ass off, and everyone else just being like, what in the hell is going on? So I think I do think that Johnny Depp's character provided a good amount of comedic relief in the second half, but he wasn't in it enough to make up for the first half. His line about the Big Lebowski and the gas station got me really good. It's exactly where I learned that from. You know what? That's crazy. He was really good. But yeah, I do think that he didn't do a good job of setting it up, but he relied on the fact that the absurdity was going to be the humor in and of itself. But it wasn't so absurd, and the beginning of the movie didn't set up for the fact that this is what it's supposed to be. And like Kent said, it kind of was just scattered. Here's some serious, and then here's a funny line, and then here's some serious, and then here's a funny line. You weren't expecting it to ever mix, so it never really did in your mind.
And I think you're right. You might be right on the absurd, but he didn't take it far enough. The other thing that hit me, you guys are not old enough to know this. Michael Parks starred in a TV show in the 70s, I think it was called Then Came Bronson. And this guy riding around all over on his motorcycle, being sort of an anti-hero at the same time, because it was TV. And I remember watching that when I was a kid, and then you see him play this role when he's probably in his 60s, and you're like, hello.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, because Michael Parks, who passed away 3 years ago,
R.I.P.
There was something there with that character where I think if they allow it to maybe if they focus more on him a little bit more, because there was an eeriness, but also kind of a wry humor with that character, that I think that also would have helped. But it just went so quickly from we'll call it the abduction or the knocking out of his victim.
Yeah, it went 0 to 60.
It went 0 to 60, and then next thing you know, he's Walrus Man.
Yeah.
And if they'd have played that out maybe just a little bit more and saved the reveal of the hideous walrus creature for the end, maybe that too would have helped a little bit, because I did find that character fairly interesting. I thought it was very well played. He was telling stories about, how he met Ernest Hemingway on a boat. And it just, the way he played that off, I thought was really well, but I don't think it was allowed enough room to breathe.
And you don't know if something wasn't cut out, right?
True.
Yeah.
It wasn't
where you don't know about, but I thought so too. And Michael Parks was clearly having a blast. You could tell he was just, I'm having a really good time doing this, and I am not taking it remotely seriously.
Kent, did you see Kevin Smith's Red State with Michael Parks?
Yes.
So I've been trying to find that because I would love to have that in the club. It's unfortunately not streaming anywhere for free.
Is that right?
But I thought he was phenomenal in that. Obviously, Kevin Smith has a soft spot for him. He keeps putting him in his kind of weird little comedy horror films. But he was the same. Obviously, he's not a man who turns people into walruses in Red State, but it's the same kind of wise, old, weird, goofy storytelling guy.
Yep.
Kent, what did you think of the using of the song Tusk? Was that like too on the nose? Because I was waiting for it for I'm watching the whole movie, like they're going to use the song, right? And then it played, and I was pretty happy. Are you okay with that decision?
Yeah. I'm surprised they did it, because that's expensive.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of favorite Matt kids.
That might be the single biggest budget item in that movie.
Well, yeah, they sure as hell didn't spend a whole lot on the damn walrus costume
or the flashbacks. I thought the flashbacks were funny. Of like, you could tell he was swimming in a pool, and like he was when he killed the walrus, the original walrus. Like you could tell it was just this giant paper mache like body laying.
I'll say this too. I liked that the flashbacks for events from the movie and how they would expand on them. I did like that. Like the scene at the gas station with the two women there from Canada, and like how we got more dialogue.
Yeah,
and
he kind of kept going back to get more information.
Yeah, there were a couple flashbacks like that. Him and his girlfriend or fiance, whatever she was. So I liked some of those decisions. Yeah, it's funny because I didn't hate the movie. It's just the walrus part. I think John's right. If they play that out longer and he's not a walrus for half of the movie, I do think I would have liked it more.
So you didn't hate it. I didn't hate it the first time. That's why I said it's kind of entertaining, kind of interesting, worth seeing once, but don't want to see it again.
Yeah, I'm not going to watch it again.
No, 1 out of 5, which for Stibbs' films is about par for the course.
Yeah, and it sucks, Kent. He
proud.
still hasn't had a chance to watch Bernie yet, which is the best movie easily that Stibbs has picked. So
I will.
yeah.
Don't worry. I will. Well, I actually skipped my turn so Stibbs could have his. I'm going to call an audible because I said maybe we should see Malcolm X, but it's 3.5 hours long.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of time.
And we do have 2 weeks, by the way. We're off next Friday, so this will be for July 10th is when we will review this movie.
But there was one that I've had on my list that is streaming right now on Netflix that I have not seen.
Okay.
I would like to propose to the class The Lincoln Lawyer with Matthew McConaughey.
McConaughey, yeah.
Yeah, The Lincoln Lawyer.
I have never seen this
I haven't
movie
either, and I've heard good things. That's a good pick, John. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's
it's one of the performances where McConaughey sort of made the transition to being more of a serious actor, for the lack of a better way to put it.
Mhm.
It's a pretty good movie. Yeah.
Awesome.
Well,
All right.
we'll do that then. The
All right,
Lincoln
cool.
Lawyer will be next week. And yes, as Josh mentioned, we're off next week for the 4th of July holiday. So the film club will reconvene in 2 weeks' time here on the stream. And this is usually around the time you take your trips. Are you going to be able to take your trips this year, Kent?
No.
Oh,
Sad.
Sad.
You-
No,
usually-
I still have the week off for the week after the 4th of July, but I'm staying here. So we'll be in business. So no trip this year.
Okay.
Just a little too reluctant to go tearing around the country at this point in time.
Understand.
Indeed.
Understandable. Well, Kent, always a good time. Thank you much for joining us. I like the Hawaiian shirt today. It's a little more understated, but it's.
I had to go meet with an attorney earlier today and sign some. No big deal. Just had to sign some documents, but I figured full-blown flowers might not have been perfect. So I'll give you a good one in a couple weeks.
All right.
I like it. I look forward to it. All right, Kent, take care. Have a great holiday week and a great weekend this weekend. We'll see you in a couple.
See you in a couple weeks, guys.
Later,
There
Kent.
it is, Kent Wogamon of the Lincoln Journal-Star in El Kent's Movie Club.
Just tweeted out the link.
The Lincoln Lawyer, which is on Netflix.
All right, Matt. He gives it a couple thumbs up.
I'm a
Just
little
tweeted.
disappointed. I was really hoping to
My dad's listening. He says it's a really good movie. Awesome.
is he called Lincoln Lawyer because he works out of a Lincoln?
yes, I think
Is this
so.
how he got his Lincoln endorsement?
Oh,
Or is
Stibbs.
this big Lincoln? Like, was this movie actually budgeted from Lincoln, and this is just one big Lincoln commercial?
Good questions.
I have no idea, but I'm sure this probably didn't
it's
hurt
great.
his ability to be the spokesman for the Lincoln Auto
Intrigued.
Company.
I think they might be pulling a fast one on us.
It could be. I was really hoping, and maybe at some point it will be streaming free somewhere, but this is the 40th. Last week was the 40th anniversary of the release of one of my all-time favorites, the Blues Brothers,
Mm-hmm.
but it is not streaming free anywhere.
And I've never seen that. So I hope that it ends up streaming because I would love to watch it and have an excuse to watch
It's a fantastic movie, and they play both kinds of music, country and Western.
And
it.
Western.
Nice.
Which is one of my favorite lines still from that film. It is still the most undeserving R-rated movie of all time. I still to this day have no idea why it is rated R.
Really? And that's from the era too when like movies like Breakfast Club has boobs and it's rated PG, and then this movie's rated R and you don't know why it's rated R. It's very strange.
Smokey and the Bandit had more curse words than Blues Brothers.
Yeah, some of
There's
those
no
early-
nudity in Blues Brothers.
Some of those early ratings, because that was like when they really started trying to focus on it. Some of those, it's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
They didn't have the PG-13, so it was like PG or R. It's like, can't they re-rate it? You know?
I have no idea. It's still befuddles me to this day how it got an R rating.
Yeah.
Because it's about as almost as family friendly as you can get.
Rick points out you missed a huge opportunity here. He says, "What the hell? Tomorrow's the 30th anniversary release for Days of Thunder, and John Bishop picks Lincoln Lawyer.
Is Days of Thunder
John.
streaming?
Robin's racing, John.
Yeah. Oh, is that where that line comes from?
Yes.
Oh, I thought that it was just like that. We all understood that Robin
Yeah,
is
everyone just
indeed-
knows this.
is indeed racing.
You don't freaking shift at Daytona, my God. And they don't exit the car looking like they just rolled around in pigsty the whole damn day.
Why don't you shift to Daytona?
Because once you get up to speed, there's no shifting. It's a freaking restrictor plate.
Oh,
You're not shifting. It's not a road course.
Yeah, Stibbs.
I just asked.
How do you not know these answers?
And people that are 4'7" don't race NASCAR.
Wow. Wow.
I'm sorry, 4'8".
Okay, thank you. I'm happy that you got it right.
Just when NASCAR gets more inclusive,
yeah.
Tom goes out and just cuts
I don't
people,
want Tom
cuts
Cruise in
people
my
under
sport.
6 feet out of the sport.
No,
Unreal.
Tom Cruise.
Yeah, poor Shane. Shane, Ben. Wow, look at what you did. Poor Ben. First yesterday happens for Ben, and now this.
Well, I mean, Ben can't even keep his car on the road.
Is he doing the
He
Top
says
fan
he's going to make it here. Yeah.
Top fan.
I don't know if he's going to make it on foot or what he did. But
That's a long
it's a
run.
long
He's
run.
been doing his marathon training because he's
going to be sweaty.
It's a lot of marathons, almost 10 of them.
Coming up next, it's 100 Days to College Football, and the Bo-Leavers are going to love it.
Oh no.
Or are they going to hate it?
Oh no.
Next on 1620 The Zone.